the Sixers to the Phillies, one voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started the fire, launched the whole game back in '86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your tape, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it. That's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin show. Let's go get sight. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.
And welcome to the Howard Eskin Show as you're riding with the king on this Christmas Eve. And Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. It's hasn't been the greatest Eagle season, but 'tis the season to be jolly, and we're going to try to be jolly. And what we're doing on this Christmas Eve is the best of the Howard Eskin Show. And we're going to play the best of this Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, but let's start with Christmas Eve. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell is the man, 732-343-0813. If nothing else, call him to wish him a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Also want to thank Audi Westchester. Great deals going on. Listen, it's going to go on in December. December still exists after Christmas Eve. Check them out. Great people, 1421 Wilmington Pike, and you will get a great deal. You see the finance rates on two vehicles there. Really, really good. Audi Westchester, 1421 Wilmington Pike, and Piazza Property Pros. Thanks to those people. Thanks to Piazza Property Pros for being a part of the program. And Merry Christmas to them, to you, 566-610-566-2608, 610-566-2608 on this Christmas Eve. And now enjoy it. Enjoy it. The best of. And you have a very, very Merry Christmas. I will see you on Saturday, and we'll take your calls on Saturday. Merry Christmas to everyone. And that comes from me and all the people that I work with on the Howard Eskin Show. The focus is on offense. When you look at this team and you look at the overview, how do you, from another part of the country, view the Eagles?
Well, Howard, thanks for having me on. Always good to catch up. I think I'd look at them as a team that really for a number of years, but came into this season feeling like their direction and their identity would be exactly the same as it was last year. They looked at the pieces, the personnel, pretty much the same team offensively. And I think they came in and said, hey, we don't need to change anything. We just have to be, good at the things we did a year ago. And it started with obviously running the football, and Saquon Barkley. And that's how they built this thing. And the problem has been, yes, they've had a couple of injuries up front, but they're just not as good, or they're not playing as well up front as they did a year ago. And so there are a lot of struggles in the run game, and they're not getting any explosive big plays in the run game. And so I believe that they've lost their identity a little bit, because this is who we are. This is how we've had success. This is how we went to a couple Super Bowls, and it's not working. So now what do we do, and how do we adjust? And specifically, how do we adjust in the middle of the season? That's the one thing that, when you go through training camp and you do all of that, you practice the things that you think you're going to do during the season. You build your offense the way that you're going to play during the season. And so it's not as easy to go, okay, we've got, 5 days between this game and the next game. Let's revamp our offense and let's do something completely different. that just doesn't happen. We can make a little adjustment here and a little adjustment there, but I think the biggest thing is they really felt like they were built to play the same way they did a year ago, and it's not working. And with it not working, they're trying to figure out, okay, what can we adjust, or how do we, get better at the things that we should be better at. And to me, I just think the biggest thing is that their offensive line is just not dominating the way it has in the past. And maybe they misjudged that. Maybe it was injuries. Maybe it was just something you couldn't judge as guys get older. But now they have to try to figure out, okay, like you said, we're still 8-4. We're still leading our division. All things point to we're still going to be in the postseason. But how do we make the adjustments, the proper adjustments, whatever those are, so we really have a chance to repeat at this thing? Because the way it's going now, to think, they're going to be able to kind of muddle their way through offense, through the playoffs, and through 2-3 games in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. It's hard to buy into that narrative right now because they're just not doing anything really well offensively.
All right, Kurt, you've been to Super Bowls. You won a Super Bowl. What is it like? And it's hard to get to the Super Bowl, let alone get back to the Super Bowl. What was it like the following year after you either were in a Super Bowl or you won that Super Bowl? And I was at every one of your Super Bowls, so I remember them. And then Dick Vermeil was the coach when you won the Super Bowl. But what is it like the next year having to come back, and now you got to go through this all long grind again?
I think the biggest thing that you realize is when you go to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, there's aspects of it that almost seem easy because so many things have to come together to win a Super Bowl. And you don't really understand that in the moment or in the season that you're going to the Super Bowl. You're just kind of like, hey, this is going well and we're winning, and we need to make a play. We're making a play. And you're just kind of like, okay, that's just kind of what we do. And then you come back in these other seasons and you go, oh, geez, it's not as easy as it seemed last year. It's not as easy as that run was. And then you start realizing, okay, whether you either stayed really healthy one year or maybe you didn't stay healthy and somebody got hurt, but the next guy that came in that year seemed to be not much of a drop off from your starter. And so there's so many of these pieces just kind of fit together when you're having success. And then the years that you're not, you start to realize, oh man, that one injury, man, I didn't realize how big that was going to be or how that was going to affect us, or the guy we lost in the offseason, right? Because when you win a Super Bowl, everybody on your team is valuable. So your third receiver, somebody wants him as your number one receiver. And so all of a sudden they pluck that guy and you're leaving, or your depth at the defensive line. Okay. It's like, yeah, our starters are really good, but we don't realize how much depth and, the different guys that were so successful for us last year, where we could just, plug different guys in and we could have success at the defensive line. And those guys start to get plucked by different teams and get paid more and they become the number one guy. But you don't realize how important some of those other pieces are. You look at your starters and you think, okay, as long as we have these starters, we'll be successful. But there's a lot of key pieces on every team and on every Super Bowl team that are hard to be replaced. And so if you can't keep everybody, you start to realize how special those are and how special those groups of men are. And you don't take it for granted because sometimes when you're in the midst of it, it's easy to take for granted because it does almost seem easy, or it seems like, every time we need to make a play, somebody just shows up. Somebody does it, like, hey, this guy's injured, the next guy, and it's just not always like that. And so, outside of a few teams, the Patriots of the last, 20 years with Tom Brady, and then some of the dynasties back in the day when there wasn't the free agency, and maybe the Chiefs team right now, but that's just rare. It's rare to be able to consistently have that sort of success as you file new guys in and you have to change little aspects of the game. And you just don't realize it until you're there and you're like, man, why is this year so much harder than it was a year ago.
Well, looking at it from my perspective, and I'm here, the running game isn't as good because Saquon Barkley had so many carries last year, and historically, that running back the next year just isn't the same. The offensive line, they lost the right guard. The center had surgery in the offseason. I don't think he's as good. That's Cam Jurgens. So the offensive line isn't as good. So the Eagles were a running team. And I know that they didn't want Jalen Hurts to throw more than 21 to 23 times. I don't know if you ever had a game where you threw that few passes. But whatever the case, now he's got to do it because they can't run the ball. So take a look at what you see. And I don't know, obviously working with the NFL Network, a lot of those guys have different opinions, but you have your own. Some of those you might share with those people. What do you or the NFL Network people see with or without Jalen Hurts this year?
Well, I mean, I think what we always have to do is we have to recognize different players and understand different players have different strengths. And, there's usually in the NFL, and this, I've covered it for a long time. There's a handful of elite guys, franchise guys, as I like to call them. And for me, an elite or franchise guy is a guy that you believe can drop back 35 or 40 times a game and be the reason that you guys are going to win or have success on offense. And there's not very many of those guys, usually at any point in time in the NFL. And so then everybody else, is kind of that next tier down. And, if you're the next tier down, then it takes different pieces around you for your team to be ultra successful. And so I think when I look at Jalen Hurts, that's kind of what I see I see a guy that's, kind of in that next tier. He's not a guy, you just said they wanted him to throw 21 to 23 times a game. I mean, that's not very many, obviously, in the NFL, for a start, like, but I think what they realize is that, when the situation's good and when, he's very comfortable with where he's throwing the football, he's a very gifted thrower of the football and he can make every throw on the football field. But he hasn't necessarily shown that ability to carry a team week in and week out. We've seen him carry a team for, a week here, a week there. We've seen him play unbelievable in the Super Bowl or the 2 Super Bowls that he played in. So we know that he can be really good in stretches as a passer. But we haven't seen that consistency to say, okay, if we can't run the football and we've got to drop back and throw the ball 35 or 40 times a game, that we can be ultra successful throwing it. And so, when I look at Jalen Hurts, I think he's a really good quarterback. I'm not sure he's in that elite category, just in terms of being a quarterback. Like he's elite in terms of winning. He's elite in terms of playmaking. But sometimes you just have to play quarterback. You have to drop back and play in the and see the field and get the ball out on time and be able to decipher what's going on of the field and consistently make those decisions and those throws to help your team win. And that's to me the one thing that Jalen hasn't shown us. And again, I know that sounds like a negative or a knock on Jalen Hurts. Again, let me state that there's usually only a handful of those guys in the NFL at any point in time. I mean, those are the Hall of Famers. Those are the special guys that are different.
I promoted you as Philadelphia's favorite, South Philadelphia's favorite son. Would you think there's another guy in mind? Are you South Philadelphia's favorite son?
Absolutely. I go anywhere. Philly, Florida, anywhere in the country.
Yeah, but that's not South Philadelphia. Well,
Yes,
wait,
I'm loved.
where do you rank with Frank Rizzo?
I'm better than Rizzo. Come on.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal, Joey. You have created a new career for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know what if the other one was really a career, but you've created a new career for yourself. You got the steak shop, Skinny Joey's Cheesesteaks. And it's just what led you into the business world. And I think you knew those people at that cheesesteak place, which was there before. What led you into being like full steam ahead? You and
Well,
little stuff there.
that cheesesteak place saved my life. It used to be called Talk of the Town,
Yep.
and I got indicted for a murder that I already beat in Philly, and they indicted me again in New Jersey for the same murder. And the lion rat that got on the stand said, Pete Caprio, after the murder, he committed the murder. He said, I told him to do it. He killed 80 people. I had to tell him to do it. He said he met me at the Talk of the Town. He pulled in a gas station. He got out of the car. We went and talked to the town. It sounded good, like a movie. He hugged
Right.
me, kissed me. I congratulated him. We had a cheesesteak and everything was good. But he didn't know at the date when he said he met me, Talk of the Town burned down to the ground. So we brought the owner in. The place was burnt to the ground. We showed pictures. The owner said it's impossible for him to have a cheesesteak in there. The place wasn't there. So they fucking lied and saved my life. I got acquitted.
Okay. So how many times were you indicted for murder?
Well, the Rico case in Philly, they put the murders in there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But we beat them all. And then I got indicted on the murder that I beat. They indicted me in Newark, in New Jersey, federal court, and I beat that too.
So
24 people found me not guilty.
okay. So they wanted to send you to jail. Who is
No, they
they?
wanted to kill me. They wanted to stick that needle in my arm. They wanted
Okay.
to kill me, give me a death penalty.
Really?
Yeah,
So you were up for the death penalty?
yeah. In Philly, yeah. But then they dropped it because we had a fight in Washington, and we won. They couldn't go for it.
Okay. So here's another thing. Uh, there's a lot of things that have happened to you, and one of the things was you got shot.
Yes.
Who the hell would shoot a guy like you?
I don't know. I still don't know. I was walking down the street. I got shot.
Well, he obviously didn't do a good enough job, or
No,
his job. No. So how many times did you get shot? Just once?
twice in my ass. Well, once in my leg and once in my ass.
Jeez. It's just, and what do you think the reason for that was?
I have no idea.
All right.
I'm not getting into that.
Okay. All right. So now the first time that you got sent to jail was, or found guilty was what, 1990? What was that charge? That was what,
That was 89.
conspiracy?
89. That was a armored truck.
And what happened?
None. The
What did they?
motherfuckers.
What did they say happened?
They said I robbed an armored truck. The dumb motherfucker threw the wrong bag out. It was an inside job. There's no violence or nothing. And the two guys who planned the whole thing, I didn't even know the kid. I took a ride with the guy. They ratted on me, and I went to jail, and they got probation.
And you went to jail for how many years?
I got 4 years.
Okay. I know when I saw you in Florida in Boca, you were in jail at one point for like 12 years,
Oh
right?
yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was 99. I got out. I went away 99. I got out 2011. Did 12 years. 12 years, 3 months.
And what was that for?
Gambling and receiving stolen property.
All right. So here's what. All right. Well, let me ask you. I'm going to ask you about another situation. In the joint,
Right.
how it's just. How do you deal with that? I mean, you're in there for a while.
One day at a time. I used to listen to you. I was in a hole. And
Really?
in Sixth and Market, I was in shoe, 24-hour lockdown. I used to listen to your show every day. I remember one day you were talking about me. He said, Joey's probably in the joint right now, betting the games, sitting back, relaxing. I cursed you out. I said, motherfucker, I'm in a hole. But I used to listen to your show every day.
Well,
But we had radios like the Walkmans that they would give us.
that's cool. I'm big. So now I know you were listening to me in the hall.
I did, WIP.
And you couldn't miss my show. I know you couldn't miss my
I never
show.
missed it. We had no TVs. I used to listen to you.
All right.
WIP.
What is the most outrageous thing that you think that I said when you listened to me when you were in the hole? I probably
All right.
was probably
I'm gonna tell
straightforward.
you
I
when
was
it
honest.
was. If you remember this game, the Eagles played Dallas. It was the first game, and they drank pickle juice or something. Remember, it
Oh
was
yeah,
fucking
yeah. That game
100
was in,
degrees out.
yeah, that was in Dallas. Yep,
Yeah,
that was in Dallas.
and the Eagles beat them or so. I don't know. I remember.
Yeah.
And you were saying my man Joey's probably sitting back in the cell taking bets, relaxing. Motherfucker, I was in a hole. I listened to you on the radio.
It's all right, but they didn't give you any pickle juice, so you didn't
Maybe not.
dehydrate.
Nah, fuck, I had dog food.
The food couldn't have been that good in the joint.
Nah,
Couldn't have
it's
been that
horrible.
good.
Horrible.
It's just all right. So now here's the one that I don't understand. All right, parole violations, they can get you on anything, but that's another story. You in 2018, I think you went back to jail
Yeah.
for illegal gambling. What
No, it
the
wasn't
hell?
gambling. It wasn't gambling. I went to trial. I got a hung jury, and then the judge hated me. He was no good. He wouldn't let me play one tape to defend myself. So they came. I had to plead guilty to one count of not illegal gambling, placing a bet over the phone.
Placing a bet over the phone? Is that's
Yes,
illegal?
Yeah, I got 2 years for it. Making a bet over the phone, and the game I bet I lost. I bet Brady, and they lost.
Well, yeah, it's one of the few times. Yeah, but you're betting against the number. Now, when back then everybody bet. So why did they get everybody used a bookmaker because you didn't
They
have all these
fucking
sites.
hate me. They hate me. I mean, the whole world bets. They would have to build. They would have to lock the whole country up.
Okay. Do you remember the first time we met?
Yeah,
And I'll tell you.
I've seen you out a lot of times.
Well, okay, yeah, but we never really met. I came to the coffee shop. There was a story
Oh
that
yeah, with Lindros. But I knew you before that. I seen you
yeah.
around.
Okay. Yeah, we knew each other, but that's the first time.
Right.
So I come into the coffee shop. It was on what, Passyunk Avenue.
Yeah.
Snuff, little Snuff was involved with you at that time. You were probably
I
too
wasn't
young
even
at that.
born.
He wasn't even born yet. He's only 33.
Yeah, I wasn't even born.
So, all right. So I come into the coffee shop and I want to straighten out the story. By coincidence, I'm on the front page of the Daily News that day. There's a caricature of me. They did a story on me. So I come in and I ask the guy behind the counter, "Hey, is Joey here? Who can I say?" And then the guy says, "Cuz, who can I say wants him?" I said, "Howard Eskin." So one guy peels in the back. I'm talking to him. He says, "Can I get you anything?" He says, "Yeah, I'm going to get a cappuccino." He says, "Cappuccino machine doesn't work." I says, "It's a coffee shop and the cappuccino machine doesn't work."
Yeah.
And then,
Right.
what was beautiful, I was a little intimidated because you had two cars, black cars out there. The feds were out there. They watched you all the time. So I was out there. So a few minutes later, the guy comes from the back. He says, "Cuz, Joey will be here in about 10 minutes." So about 10 minutes later, you come walking in, must be about 15 guys with you. Come walking in. I says, "Oh my God, what the hell's going to happen now?" And I talked to you about the story. And then you came on the radio with me that night.
Yeah, that night I came on the radio.
That might be the first time, that might have been the first time that you ever went public as Joey Merlino. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so what do you think when they write stories and you look back and you write stories and it says mob boss, alleged mob boss, mob boss? What do you think of those stories? Because in the world we live in now, that never goes away. What do you think about
It
those
sells
stories?
papers. It fucking sells papers. If they
So-
call me a fucking waiter, who's going to buy the paper? Right? If they said Joey the waiter, who's going to buy it? Don't mob boss sound better?
Yeah, okay. So, what is? First of all, nobody liked to be called the mob. It was organized crime, and we don't. Whatever it was, nobody liked to be called that. Why? I mean, how did you deal with? Did people refer to you as Joey, or hey, there's the mob boss? When you hear people talking, chattering behind you, what did they say? Yeah, they're not selling papers.
No, it's Joey that people call me. Nobody's ever called me that.
Okay. So it's just it really is. When you think of and we're going to get into rats too. When you told me, I'm going to see if you mention this guy. You told me one guy was really a rat. it's a guy that got you put away because he was a rat, and I think he went into witness protection. Give me the worst rats, and you guys don't like rats.
You don't either.
No, I don't. No, I
You
don't.
don't like people making stories up about you, right? Tattletales?
No. Yeah, well, they make them up
Yeah.
because I know, I know.
You went through it, yeah.
Yeah, I got fucked too.
Yeah.
It's the first time that I use. Hey, listen, you're going to beat me on that word tonight. But it was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah.
It's just, but that's what people want to do. But
Yeah.
so, all right. So, who were the biggest rats that really dimed you out? Who were the biggest rats?
They're all, to me, they're all the same. Every one of them. There was 8 of them to testify. I mean, they're all the same. They're all doing the same thing. They all got in trouble. Not one person that testified against me ever got caught doing a crime with me.
Really?
They all got caught doing their own crimes, and then they came in and said, "Joey told me to do it," and I got more people out of jail than any lawyer in the country. They went
Really?
home, and I had to fight for my life. So they're all the same.
So when you went, and thanks for jumping on.
Okay.
When you went in to this postseason, did you have confidence that things, and I'll say, would change with the team not just being a home run hitting, just depending on the home runs, I should say? Did you hope that would change?
Yeah, I did hope. And one of the reasons I hoped it would change is because our starting pitching all year excelled. And when you have starting pitching like we did, not only pitch good, but pitch deep, you really don't need a lot of home runs to win. You can win a ball game 3-2. You can win a ball game 2-1. There's a lot of times during the season you like the 3-run homers and you win a game 9-8 or 10-8. But in the playoffs, as and I'm sure you've watched, these been for the most part low scoring games. And with our pitching, like I said, all year, it was amazing what they did. And to come up short, I'm very disappointed. I'm sure the players are disappointed. I'm sure Dave Dombrowski is disappointed. The fans are disappointed. This is like 3 years now. I'm not counting the game, the World Series with Houston. We got to the World Series. We got beat by Houston. It was one of those series where they were at the end, they were a better team. But these last three, they're leaving a sour taste in my mouth because I really believe, Howard, in my mind, not because I'm working with the Phillies. I think those teams should have advanced, all three of them, and we didn't. And it's very disappointing.
Okay, when you look at the lineup, and I've been a critic of the lineup, the way it's structured, the lack of contact hitters in that lineup. It just doesn't seem, balance is probably not the right word, but you got your home run guys really at the top. And what home run guys you have? You have Turner. Schwarber's really the only home run guy, really, when you break it down in today's game. Hitting 20 some home runs is not a big deal anymore. When you got your home run guys at the top, and then you don't have contact hitters, I don't like the structure of the lineup. Do you like the lineup the way it's structured? And I like Rob Thompson. It's not, he has to, he doesn't have to, but he does. He follows all that analytic bullshit. But do you like the way the lineup is structured?
I would say that looking back, starting 3 years ago, I'd say, yeah, I like the way it was structured because we scored runs. But after coming up short 3 years in a row, maybe there has to be some tweaks in that lineup. Maybe we have to change some guys in the batting order. Maybe we have to make some trades. I mean, that's what Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton, that's their job for this coming winter. This is just me talking. I think it's going to be hard to bring back everything the same. I think there's got to be some tweaks somewhere. The pitching to me is still our strength. Would I like to have Ranger back? Yeah, but I'm sure his asking price is going to be off the chart. His agent is Boris, but hopefully we get a healthy, and after a year, maybe year and a half, Painter is back. I like, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed with Wheeler. That's a big question mark. Those guys with that operation, it takes time to get back to where they were before. So I'm still happy with our pitching, but I think the lineup just listening to comments and everything, I think there's going to be some tweaks to that.
Okay, when you say something's got to change for the lineup to get better, but you're locked into so many contracts, and what ability do you have to make trades for players? And if you're locked into contracts, then money becomes an issue. How do they change? How do they add or subtract players based looking at the contracts?
Well, I think that we know how Dave likes to formulate a roster, and you hit it right on the head. We have some guys with long-term contracts that I don't think we should trade, and I don't think they're going to trade. I don't think they're going to trade Harp. I don't think they're going to trade Turner. I don't think Wheeler's getting the guys that might be involved in that are guys that I really like. I mean, do you want to move Stott? Do you want to move Bohm? I don't know. Are we going to sign JT? Who to me is one of the best catchers still in baseball? Do you want to give him 3-4 years? We definitely need to sign Schwarber, but that's up to the front office. How much money at his age? How many years at his age? He's definitely the leader of that team. He's the big time leader in the clubhouse. Uh, the only guy that's got more home runs than him the last 3 years has been Judge. So he's a prolific home run hitter. But you're I don't want to call him fringe player because I think Stott's a real good player. I think Marsh is a good player. These guys, but those are the guys that are probably tradable. And again, are you going to get back something that's going to be better or equivalent to what we're trading? Uh, I don't know. It's a tough call to make right now because of the three free agents right now. They're big time free agents in JT and Schwarb and Ranger.
Well, I think only one of them probably I'll say should be back, and that's Schwarber because of not only because he gives you something in that lineup to produce his runs, but also he is the leader in the clubhouse. There's
Right.
no question he's the
Right.
leader in the clubhouse. But the other, JT, how much money can you spend? You can't give him what's he made 23 million this year, so he's probably not going to take much less with
Right.
the way the money's going up. So, and then you got multiple years there. I think Schwarber's more important than JT because you like Marchand, right? Do you like Marchand as a
I
catcher?
love Marchand. I think Marchand, if given the opportunity, he's not going to catch as long as JT's here. He's going to be our backup. Now, if you don't sign JT, then I could see Marchand sliding in there. He's really improved he's not a home run hitter. He puts the ball in play. He's really improved as a hitter. I think he could hit 250 to 260. Tremendous catcher, tremendous arm. But would it be nice to have JT and Marchand? I think it would be great. But like you said, is JT willing to take a friendly discount? I don't know. I don't know that. I know that catching is very rare right now for good catchers. I'm sure that market's going to be strong for him. Now, how strong or how high are we, when I say we, how high are we willing to go? How many years are we willing to go?
Yeah.
JT is an unbelievable athlete. He's caught a lot of innings. And I've seen catchers that do that. And to me, I still think he has 2-3 years left of good playing. But that again, that's up to people that are higher up in me in that front office, and they're going to have to make a tough decision. You think Schwarber might be the only one signed? You might be right. I would like to see us sign two of those three, but
Well, look.
that's probably pushing the envelope there. I don't know.
Well, look at the people already under contract. You got Harper, you
Right.
got Turner. Nola's got 5 more years,
You
right?
got Casti another year.
Yeah,
You got Walker another year.
yeah.
So you got some
It's only a
expiring
year. You might
contracts.
be able to move it down, but you still. And then you have Wheeler's got 1 more year, whether he plays or not.
Right.
He's still got 1 more year at like
Right.
$40 million. So it's just it's hard to fit all these people in that you want to fit in. You got to depend on your minor league. So Crawford will be up. But before I get to Crawford, Castellanos, I just can't see how he can be back next
My
year.
dog.
That's all right. That's all right. You know, the dog can join in too because dog probably agrees with me. Um, Castellanos, how can Castellanos be back basically with the differences and it's not going to get better? He's still going to be replaced for defense one way or the other. You know, and he got upset about that. He had some issues with Rob Thompson, and you know, the Phillies haven't officially announced it, but Rob's going to come back, and I'm totally fine with that. But how can Castellanos come back? And Crawford will probably be the guy to put in the outfield. Would you agree with that?
Crawford definitely has earned a spot on this team next year. I don't know how many more years he's going to go to the minor leagues and keep hitting over 300. Um, in my opinion, Crawford's going to be on one of those outfielders. Probably, I think he's a very good left fielder. He can play center. Um, but in answer to your question about Castellanos, if he comes back, and that's an if, him and Rob have got to mend the fences, whatever is going on there. And that's going to be something that to keep an eye on this winter because I know one thing about Casty that I will say, he wants to play every day. His work ethic is off the charts. He never cheats anybody as far as playing hard.
Yep.
But sometimes if he's benched or taken out, he'll say things that, and I'm not saying, I said my things a lot of times when I played that you look back on, you say, oh man, I wish I didn't say it. Or I wish I'd have said it on a one-to-one basis. And I think the communication there, if it's more one-on-one as opposed to screaming at each other like they did, I guess, in Miami, and I don't think Rob did, but I guess Cassidy did. And that's the reason he got benched the next day because it happened in front of the whole team. But I do think if he's back, there's got to be some fences that are mended. There's no question about that.
Thanks for watching the best of the Howard Eskin Show as you are riding with the king as we're into the holiday season. Happy holidays to everyone, everyone. And thanks to the people that have been a big part of this program, whether it be our sponsors, whether it be the people I work with, Joe Gangemi, who does the technical part of things. He's on the other side, whether it be Tony Anastasia, who does all the graphics and posts all the things for the Howard Eskin Show and on social media. And thank you on this holiday season for being a part, as you were riding with the king, being a part of the Howard Eskin Show. Have a happy holiday season. Enjoy it.
Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Yes, K-I-N. Oh, yeah. Hey, you turn it up, Philly. It's time to roll on the ones and twos, taking full control from the link to the X, from the sixes to the fields. One voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started the fire, launched the whole game back in '86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your tape, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it. That's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin Show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin Show. Let's go get sight. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.